What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the Texas Rangers report. And tomorrow, Friday, is the deadline for teams to add or protect prospects, add them to the 40-man roster, and protect them from the Rule 5 draft. And with a lot of teams, or a decent amount of teams, they're facing 40-man roster crunches. Some players won't get added. They'll be exposed to the Rule 5 draft. And this adds some, what's the right word? Teams can use this as an opportunity to acquire players through trades. Because there's some teams, their 40-man roster is completely full. And of course, you can always designate players for assignment. But there's also teams that have a decent amount of players that they have to add. And not a lot of teams want to just designate 5 players for assignment. So I think the Rangers could use this opportunity to trade, make a trade. So obviously we've been talking about a bunch of free agents. I made so many free agent videos about shortstops, pitchers, etc., some outfielders. So go check those out if you haven't. But so tomorrow's the deadline. I made a video about who the Rangers would probably protect if you haven't checked that already. But it talks about Ricky Vanasco, Bubba Thompson, etc. So go check that out. So I'm going to be talking about trades the Rangers should at least inquire about. So I think the Rangers could, let me just start off with taking on a bad contract. So going to the New York Yankees, the Yankees are already in the luxury tax, negative $19 million. And whenever you're in the luxury tax, it does so many bad things to your team. It restricts your international signing bonus, and it also penalizes your owner. It does a few other things. I think it does something with the draft as well. I'm not too sure, but it's bad. There are already $19 million in there, and that's without signing any. Well, they signed Joely Rodriguez, but they're gonna be players this free agency. So I'm thinking, okay, we could help them out and they could help us out. So their 40-man roster is completely full. And Rangers roster, we have 4 open spots and we have a bunch of money. So I'm thinking we could take on Zach Britton, and we can take who's paid $14 million this year. The thing is, he won't pitch this year. So we could take on all of his contract, and we can take on a prospect. And I'm thinking we take on Clark Schmidt, their number 5 overall prospect. He used to be a top 100 prospect. So that clears 2 40-man spots. We take on $14 million, so that lowers their luxury payroll to negative $5 million. And that makes going after big free agents a lot more doable for the Yankees. And then you can just designate Zach Britton for assignment, because he won't be pitching at all in 2022 because of his injury. So, and I don't think you would want to hold on to Zach Britton, waste a 40-man if he's not going to be playing at all. So that's one trade. Let me know what you guys think. So you take on Zach Britton and Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt could compete for a pitching spot, or he could just play in AAA. He has options. And then the Rangers would just pay $14 million. I don't know if the Yankees would do that, because I don't know if they want to give Clark Schmidt. But you have to think about it from this perspective. You're opening 2 40-man spots for the Yankees, and you're lowering their luxury tax, because you're taking on the entirety of $14 million. So that's the first trade. The second trade is with the Oakland Athletics. They only have 28 40-man roster spots filled. And it looks like they're going to be rebuilding, because their star players are hitting free agency, or they're about to hit free agency, and they're going to try to use the most of their trade value while they can, because their farm system is garbage. So a lot of their players that have team control are pretty old. So I'm thinking the Rangers could go after a starting pitcher, and then the Rangers can use like their prospects that haven't really panned out like we wanted to, trade them to the Athletics, so they can be called, like, they can use them as like prospects at the major league level, and they can play right away for the Athletics. So I'm thinking the Rangers could go after Cole Irvin. He's 27, 28 years old. He pitched pretty well this year. He's a left-handed pitcher. He has one option. So he's a little bit older, but the Athletics said that they're willing to take phone calls for everybody this offseason. And I think that you could trade Nick Solak and DJ Peters to the Oakland Athletics because Tony Kemp, they still have Tony Kemp, but he's basically a utility player, and Nick Solak can slide in at second base. And then the Athletics are losing, they'll probably lose Mark Canha in free agency, so we can play him. But the outfield is really, you don't really know who's playing in their outfield because Stephen Piscotty's not that good anymore. You're losing Mark Canha. You don't know how Raymond Laureano is going to do because he's been suspended. So I think you could try to trade Nick Solak and DJ Peters because those guys are not too far removed from being a prospect. And a lot of the prospects in the Athletics organization, if you look it up, they have AJ Puck and Dalton Jeffries. Those guys are super old. They're like 26. So if DJ Peters and Nick Solak were in the Athletics organization, they would probably still be considered prospects. I mean, not really, but I think you guys know what I'm getting at. And then the Rangers would add another starting pitcher to the mix, and I really value having a multitude of pitchers in the organization because I just think they are extremely valuable. And I bring this up again. Just look at the Dodgers. The rotation looks stacked at the beginning of the year, and towards the end, it was like, oh my God, who's going to be pitching for us after a multitude of injuries and suspensions? And then with those the option, it gives the chance to be sent down, called up. And then the last one, maybe you go get another bad contract in Will Myers. He's getting paid $20 million this year. The Padres are another team in the luxury tax. Only $3 million though, but I know they want to be players in free agency. And maybe add on another prospect as well. I don't know if you can get a guy like Mackenzie Gore. The only reason I bring him up is because he's been struggling lately. He hasn't been great with his mechanics. But I don't think you would be able to get him. I wonder if you could get a guy like Adrian Morejon. Obviously, I think the Rangers would have to take a majority of the contract. But something similar like that, where the Rangers eat the majority of the contract and they get a prospect in return. So going over the trades, you have Zach Britton and Clark Schmidt, and the Rangers pay the entirety $14 million. And then you go over to the Athletics, it was Cole Irvin for Nick Solak and DJ Peters. And then you go over to the Padres, it was Will Myers and a prospect, and the Rangers pay majority of the contract. And maybe the Rangers cash in a prospect as well that we may not protect in the rule, that we may not protect to the 40-man, because the Padres, their farm system is kind of depleted after all the trades they made. So a player that we trade over might help a deal get done, and the Padres would most likely be able to protect them because their farm system is a little weak. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Should the Rangers make any of these trades before Friday or before the deadline on Friday? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I think the Clark Schmidt one would be good. Probably even the Cole Irvin. I mean, Will Myers, he could be versatile, but I don't know if they would actually do that one. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.